So yesterday we have written a logic for our mapper. What we are doing in the mapper? Our problem statement is our problem statement is this is the data. I'm going to calculate how many words are there in this document. This is my text file, which is input. I am going to identify how many words are there in this document. If any word is repeated, how many times it get repeated? If any word is repeated, how many times it get repeated? So we are going to see that. How it will, before going into that, what we have to do, we have to we have to understand the data. The very first step, guys, the very first step, if you are attending interview or if you are in a project, if anyone asks you to design a map reduce program, or if anyone asks you to design a map reduce solution for the problem, try to understand the problem first. What is the data? What kind of data it is? What is the format of the data? And what is the common delimiter in the whole data? And how we can fetch, and what is the final analytics, I mean final statistics we're expecting, what is the report we have generated out of it. Then to generate the report, what are the things we have to do? If you take a sample data here, in this I want to count the words, right? So how can I get the words? By separating by space. To get the words, I have to separate by space, right? And also I have to see how much big the data is and what type of data it is. It is a text data. Okay, if it is a text data, I don't need to specify any input format. The default input format can handle it. If the data is something like key value pairs, or if the data is something like sequence file format, if the data is something like n line, if you want to process 5 lines at a time, if these kind of data, you have to identify what is the input format I have to use. So before getting into designing your map reduce, what you have to do, you have to understand the data first. The very first stage of the problem statement is you have to understand the data and you have to understand the problem statement. In my case, the problem statement is I have given a text file which can be 1 GB, it can be 1 TB, I don't mind. The problem statement is I need to calculate number of words in this document. That is my problem statement. To do that, what are the things I have required? The very first thing, what is the format of the data is, and what is the delimiter for how can I pick the word sound of out of this text file. And second thing is I have to design what is my key and what is my value. And I have to design what will be my output of the mapper, what will be output of my reducer, I mean input to my reducer and output of the reducer. And also we have to decide whether do I need a reducer for this or not. For this problem statement, whether I need a reducer or not. Okay, these and all we'll see one by one. Then when you see the data, when you understand the data, you have to we have to design your key value pairs. For your mapper, what will be the key type, what will be the value type, and mapper output, what will be the key type, output key type, output value type. And your output value, output key of the mapper is input to your reducer. Then what will be my output of reducer? That those things you have to calculate. I mean, you have to identify. If you identify this, then it's very easy to design a map reduce pattern or map reduce solution. Okay. Then you have to start write your mapper program. Let's see what we are doing in a mapper program. What I have to do in my mapper program? My mapper program, whatever the I have used it text input format because it is a text input format. I know the key will be offset by default. The key will be offset by default. The value will be the complete line. The value will be complete line. So your Java will not understand the text type. The value is what type it is? It is a text type. Java will not understand the text type. What we have to do? We have to convert the line, the text into string format. So for that, we have a toString method. We have a toString method to convert your object or your text object. It can be your student object, it can be your employee object, or it can be your cat or animal. Any type of the object you want to convert into the string, what we will do? We'll use a toString method. But to convert into string, we have to make sure that that object class has overridden toString method. That object class has overridden toString method. Just check whether this text class is overridden or not. Go to your text class, Control O, just say toString. It has a toString method. They have written the toString method. They have overridden the toString method. Right? Clear, guys? So whatever you are going to write here, whether that method is there or not, if you want to convert your text object, this is ideally a text object, right? It's ideally a text type of variable. If we say int variable, it is a primitive type. If it is a proper class type, we'll say object, right? We'll not say it's a primitive variable. So we'll say object. In the same way, this is value is object. Now, if you want to convert your object into a string, Java understanding language, we have to override a toString method. We no need to override. We need to use a method called toString method. So already the toString has been overridden in your text class. Clear, guys? Now the text, whatever the text is coming from the text object, will convert into a string. It will convert into a string. So we need a string. We don't worry about what type of text it is. So now I got this string. Now what I got here, I will get. Let's assume that I'll get the. Let me go to the sample data. Let's assume that I'll just take the first line. Just assume that I'll just take first line. I'll get here the string like this. The Hadoop distributed file system is a distributed something scalable, whatever it is. Okay. Now this line has to be separated by space. This line has to be separated by space, right? Then how to separate this? We have a space. I have a space. Okay, and it has been. I have to delimit this to get the words. I have to delimit our line into by. I have to delimit this line by space. Now what I have done, I have a class called string tokenizer, or you can use directly string split. There is a method called split method in strings. If you remember, we have done this in our Java classes, right? I have done this string. Okay, I have tokenized and I have splitted by space. What will happen, it will get the whole the word, this all the words will be there in your tokens. Then I'm because I need to get the each word, I don't want the complete line, I want the each word. So what I have to do, I have to traverse through my whole, I have to traverse through whole objects, like has more elements. If you remember, we have done same thing in our while doing our collections. Has more, even strings also we have done this. Okay, has more will represent whether first it will be representing the, and when you say has more, it will check whether the other tokens are there or not. Yes, it's there. Then go to tokens, next element what will do, this cursor will move to Hadoop and the will be returned to tokens. The will be returned to tokens. What your next element will do, it will return an object type. See here, it will return a object type. So your token is a string type. The token is a string type. So we're converting object into toString. Then you got the token. Now token is what type? I mean word D. D is what type? It's a type of string. But your Hadoop will not understand, no? So Hadoop will not understand the strings. We need to convert into text. How we can do that? We can create a text object, and the Hadoop is given some method like a set method. Create an object for the text. In that object you have a set method. You call the set method, and you can pass the string. It will take it as, it will convert internally as a text type. Then we have to write context.write. Context.write means I'm emitting the data, I'm emitting the output, I'm emitting the output of the mapper. What you have to write, your word and a number one, because I need to every word occurrence, the one, Hadoop one, distributed one, file one, system one, it's a HDFS one, is one. Why? Because when I will say 111, if you remember yesterday we have discussed this, I'll be emitting like this, mapper one will be emitting like this, and mapper two also will emit like this. But after mapper phase, you have a phase called sort and shuffle. What the sort and shuffle will do? It will sort on the keys. In our case, what is the key? Word. It will sort on the words. It will sort on the words, and it will group the values. Group the values. That is called sort and shuffle phase. We'll see more detail about the sort and shuffle phase. Okay, but for time being, we just understand there is a phase called sort and shuffle, who will sort on the key and who will group the values. And in reducer phase, we'll sum it. Go to now our reducer phase. Go to our reducer phase. In reducer, nothing, right? What we have to do? I just need to sum it. I already have the values. I just need to sum it. I have to make them sum. I need to do a sum. What I'm doing here, the sum, it is a collection of values. No, what are the after sort and shuffle phase? After sort and shuffle phase, this is a collection of values, array of values. I can say list of values. I can say, right? So these values will be iterable. How it will come? It will come as a iterable. Iterable is the top level interface, and which is extended with the iterator. So this value is a collection of values will come. Collection of iterable. These are collection of iterables. So this collection, what we will do? We have to traverse through each word, right? If you see here, this is come. I have to go to first one. I have to take it and I have to sum with the second one. I have to take it. I have to sum with the other one, right? So we have to sum all the collected values. Here the problem statement is no count, but if another problem statement, you will write your own logic, right? Anyway, the in the in the reducer phase is always collection of values. It is not a single value. In the reducer phase, always is a collection of values. Why? Because there will be multiple mappers will be launching. Reducer will be one or depends on the configuration to launch. Default one we have set, but your map-reduce framework is smart enough to how many reducer has to launch. It will decide it, and I'll also show the configuration what it is, how it will decide. Okay, but number of mappers will be more than your reducers will be, let's assume that if your mappers are 10, your reducers will be 1 or 2. If your mappers are 1000, your reducers will be 1 or 2. You can set the number of reducers. If you want, I want the reducers of 10 reducers, you can go ahead and set. It's always welcome, but default it will be 1 or 2. So multiple mappers after short and shuffle, you'll be getting the collection of values, right? That is the reason always your reducer will take collection of values, that's called list of values, or it's called array of values. Okay, then we have to traverse through the value and we have to do our own business logic. What I'm doing here, I'm traversing through all my values. I'm taking each value, iterator. I have used iterator as next, saying that whether next element is there or not. Yes, next element is there. Then go to the next element and take the element, and I'm doing some. So here it is a iterable. It's type of iterable. I will not understand because I am doing the logic in my Java. Java has an int, but your text, your Hadoop has an iterable. So those are different data types. What we have to do? You have a method when you want to get the iterables value. You have a method called dot get method. Dot get method. It will take the value and it will give back. I mean, it will return the value. Ideally, it will return the value into value. See here. See, if you see here, it will return the into value. Okay, it is returning into value. I want to store into value. So sum, so by default is a 0. 0 plus whatever the iterations came, 1 1 1 1 1 1, all will be sum in the loop, will assign to sum. Then we are emitting it as part of the reducer. Now the two things we need to remember here. If you see where we are writing context dot write in the mapper phase, inside the loop we are writing. Inside the loop we are using context dot write inside the while loop, because I need to go with each word comma one, each word comma one, each word comma one. So in a single line, I'm calculating each word. My write logic is there inside the while loop, right? But when it comes to reducer will be only one output, right? It is outside the loop. If you do hands-on, you'll come to know when, whether it has to be inside the loop or outside the loop. That's completely depends on your logic. It is not like mapper always will be there in the inside the while loop. It's or reducer is always outside the while loop. It is not like that. It is not any there is no any condition like that. But depends on the logic whether will context dot write will keep in the loop or outside the loop. Okay. I hope you guys are clear. Do you guys have any doubts till your mapper and or mapper logic and reduce logic? Actually, this is wrong here. We should not keep this. So by mistake, I have kept it here. It should be here. It should be here. We will see that. Okay, I'll explain the uh, driver class now. It's called a job class or driver class. So, do you guys has any doubt till here now? Are you guys able to follow? If you understand mapper logic, if you understand reduce logic, it's very simple to write other thing. Hello, are you guys able to hear me? I got some disconnection error.